In the world of fame and fortune, not all stories have a happy ending. Some celebrities met untimely and disturbing deaths, their fates marked by mystery and violence. Today, we dive into the chilling tales of the horrible fates that befell these stars. Phil Hartman, a comedy legend and beloved Saturday Night Live star, was born on September 24, 1948, in Ontario, Canada. Growing up in a large family, Phil quickly learned to use his humor to stand out. At the age of 10, his family moved to the United States, and his quick wit and charm made him popular among his peers. Though he didn't know it yet, performing was in his future. Phil pursued higher education at California State University, majoring in graphic design and taking a public speaking course. His creative talents extended beyond comedy. He designed album covers for several notable bands during the 1960s. Immersed in the rock and roll lifestyle, he spent time on the road with artists, further fueling his creativity. In 1975, Phil attended an improv comedy show by the Groundlings.
This. Well, that's my normal voice.
Great.
And it goes something like this.
Now number, 17.
17 is one of my favorites. It's kind of a...
When the group invited audience members to participate, Phil immediately knew this was his calling. He joined the troupe and began collaborating with future stars like Will Ferrell, Lisa Kudrow, and Paul Rubens. Phil even helped develop the Pee Wee Herman character with Rubens before the two had a falling out. Phil's career took a massive leap in 1986 when he joined Saturday Night Live. His impressions of Bill Clinton and Frank Sinatra became iconic, and his peers affectionately nicknamed him Glue for his ability to hold the show together. Phil won an Emmy for his contributions to SNL's writing team and cemented his place as one of the show's finest comedic talents. While Phil's professional life flourished, his personal life was more complicated. After 2 failed marriages, he met Bryn Omdahl in 1985. Stunning and ambitious, Bryn dreamed of her own Hollywood career. The couple married in 1987 and had 2 children, Sean and Bergen. To outsiders, their family life seemed ideal, but those close to them saw signs of trouble. Phil avoided confrontation, while Bryn often expressed her frustrations explosively. She struggled with substance abuse, and friends noticed the strain this put on their relationship. Despite these challenges, Phil continued to thrive in his career, starring in the sitcom News Radio and lending his voice to The Simpsons. By 1998, their marriage had grown increasingly volatile. On May 27th, Phil and Bryn marked their 11th wedding anniversary, but the day ended in tragedy. After spending the evening apart, Bryn returned home in the early hours, intoxicated and under the influence of cocaine. A heated argument erupted, but Phil, exhausted, went to bed. Before 3 a.m., tensions in the Hartman household reached a devastating breaking point. Bryn, heavily intoxicated and under the influence of cocaine, was deeply upset. In a moment of intense emotional turmoil, she grabbed one of Phil's guns and shot him as he lay asleep in their bedroom. The sound of the gunshots echoed through the house, waking their 9-year-old son, Sean. Confused and scared, he thought the noise might have been a door slamming. Venturing out of his room, he found his mother crying uncontrollably, her emotions spiraling out of control. In a panic, Bryn drove to her friend Ron Douglas's house and confessed to the crime. Initially, Ron didn't believe her, thinking it was another dramatic outburst. However, he followed her back to the house and, upon seeing Phil's body, called the police. As officers surrounded the home, Bryn locked herself in the bedroom. Moments later, she took her own life, leaving their children orphaned. The news of Phil Hartman's death shocked the world. Fans and colleagues mourned the loss of a comedic genius, while speculation about what led to the tragedy swirled. Toxicology reports revealed that Bryn had alcohol, cocaine, and traces of the antidepressant Zoloft in her system. The Hartman family later filed a lawsuit against the manufacturer of Zoloft, alleging inadequate warnings about its side effects. Phil and Bryn's children, Sean and Bergen, went to live with relatives in Wisconsin, taking on new names to protect their privacy. As they grew older, they carried forward Phil's legacy in their own ways. Sean became an artist and musician, while Bergen pursued a career in communications and business. In 2015, Bergen made a special appearance at SNL's 40th anniversary celebration to honor her father. The legacy of Phil Hartman continues to shine, not only through his children, but also through the countless characters and laughter he gave to the world. Though his life ended in heartbreak, his talent and kindness remain unforgettable. As we reflect on the devastating fate of Phil Hartman, one might wonder what drives a person to the breaking point. It's often a mix of emotional turmoil, addiction, and hidden struggles. In the case of Selena Quintanilla, the story takes another shocking turn, showing just how far some people can go when trust is betrayed. But these aren't isolated incidents. The world of fame, while full of glory, can also be fraught with darkness. And unfortunately, some of the most talented and beloved figures in the world have had their lives abruptly ended by violence, jealousy, and betrayal. But what exactly pushed Yolanda Saldivar over the edge? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the disturbing and heartbreaking events that led to Selena's untimely death. In 1991, Yolanda Saldivar first witnessed Selena Quintanilla perform live in concert. Saldivar wasn't a fan at the time. She preferred country music, but she attended the show in San Antonio after her niece invited her. However, after seeing Selena's undeniable stage presence, Saldivar became a fan. Once the show ended, Saldivar was eager to buy some merchandise to commemorate the night, but when she discovered there were no official products available, an idea formed in her mind: to start a Selena fan club. There are differing accounts of how persistent Saldivar was in reaching out to Selena's family, but what's certain is that in June 1991, Saldivar was given permission to create and lead the official Selena fan club. Under her leadership, the club quickly grew, attracting thousands of members. As Saldivar worked hard to expand the fan club, she gradually integrated herself further into Selena and her family's lives. The Quintanillas trusted her more and more, eventually entrusting her with financial responsibilities. Selena even became close to Saldivar, often confiding in her and taking advice from her. The two developed a close bond, with Selena even crediting Saldivar for encouraging her to pursue higher education. In 1994, Selena's career was at its peak, having just won her first Grammy Award for Best Mexican American Album. That year, Selena opened 2 boutiques, Selena Etc., in Corpus Christi and San Antonio. These stores, which sold Selena merchandise and clothes she designed, were immensely popular among fans. Saldivar was given the responsibility of managing these boutiques, marking a significant promotion. But as Saldivar's new role grew, so did troubling behavior. Employees at the boutiques began to complain about Saldivar's possessiveness over Selena, claiming she was constantly trying to keep Selena isolated from others. Some co-workers even quit, unable to tolerate Saldivar's vindictive management style. In fact, one former roommate moved out of her apartment after just 2 weeks, disturbed by the shrine Saldivar had created in her home in Selena's honor. Despite these troubling signs, Selena remained loyal to Saldivar, defending her when others criticized her behavior. However, in January 1995, a troubling discovery was made. Members of the Selena fan club had been complaining that they never received the merchandise they had paid for. Abraham Quintanilla, Selena's father, started investigating the matter and uncovered evidence of Saldivar's financial mismanagement. Unpaid bills, forged checks, and missing funds pointed to embezzlement. Worse still, Saldivar had a history of similar behavior, having been accused of embezzling funds at previous jobs. On March 9, 1995, Selena, Abraham, and Suzette Quintanilla confronted Saldivar about the embezzlement. Saldivar failed to provide satisfactory explanations, and the Quintanillas made the decision to fire her. The next day, Saldivar showed up at work, but Abraham promptly kicked her out. That firing seemed to drive Saldivar to desperation. She purchased a .38 caliber gun on March 11th, and by March 13th, she had obtained the weapon. Despite being fired, Saldivar still had access to important financial records. Over the next few weeks, she used these documents as leverage to delay her termination. On March 15th, Selena and her husband, Chris Perez, agreed to meet Saldivar at the Days Inn to retrieve the missing records. During the meeting, Saldivar showed them the gun, claiming it was for protection. Selena, unfazed, suggested that Saldivar could manage stores in Mexico, which seemed to calm Saldivar. She returned the gun, and things appeared to settle. But the situation took a tragic turn on March 31st. Selena met with Saldivar once again, this time alone, to retrieve the final set of missing documents. When Selena confronted Saldivar about the missing papers, the two began to argue. In a fit of rage, Saldivar pulled out the gun and shot Selena in the back. The bullet hit a major artery, and Selena, bleeding heavily, stumbled out of the room. She collapsed in the lobby, her final words, "Yolanda, room 158, before she passed out from blood loss. Selena was rushed to the hospital, but the damage was too severe. Despite efforts to save her, she was declared clinically brain dead and was pronounced dead at 1:05 p.m. Meanwhile, Saldivar, in a state of hysteria, sat in her red pickup truck in the hotel parking lot. Armed with the same gun, she threatened to kill herself. A standoff with the police lasted for 9 hours. Saldivar demanded updates on Selena's condition, and the negotiators, fearing her unstable state, chose not to tell her the heartbreaking truth. After hours of negotiation, Saldivar finally surrendered to the police. The world was in shock. Fans gathered in grief, holding candlelight vigils across the nation. In Corpus Christi, thousands lined up to pay their respects to Selena, many of them questioning whether the closed casket was really hers. To quell the rumours, Selena's family opened the casket briefly, showing Selena's body and silencing the doubts. Nearly 60,000 fans passed by to bid their farewells. In October 1995, after just 2 hours of deliberation, Yolanda Saldivar was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison, with no chance of parole until 2025. Saldivar has continued to claim that the shooting was an accident, even requesting a new trial in 2019. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more from Horrendous Horror.